Are you looking for the best 12-person tent? In this video we will look at some of the 4 best tents on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Coleman Skyone 12-person tent. Coleman is a classic brand for high-quality, low-cost tents, and this newer release is no exception. Released less than a month before the time of reviewing, the model so far seems to live up to the hype of the rest of the Skyone range. This dome tent is an upgrade on some of the smaller models released in early 2020 and appears to share their simple construction. It's a simple setup with poles attaching to fabric they eclipse instead of poles, and it's quite tall for a dome tent, giving you space to walk around. Coleman's 8-person model is tall enough at its peak to accommodate a grown man at peak height. It's safe to assume the 12-person tent is even larger. Unfortunately, Coleman hasn't released its exact dimensions but states you can fit 3 queen-size airbeds inside. This gives it a comfort capacity of at least 6, but you'll be able to fit more people in if you utilize sleeping bags instead. As most Coleman tents have a comfort capacity of 2 fewer than their max capacity, we can assume 10 people in sleeping bags will work well in this tent. If things get too crowded, utilize one of the 2 wide doors to let some air in or escape from the tent. Before you go, you can store your personal items in one of the storage pockets around the tent to keep them safe while you're out. There are mesh pockets on every wall. During rain and warm weather, you can also get some relief from a stuffy sensation in the tent. There are 2 ground vents low down, so you can let air in that way while you're protected by the hefty rainfly. The fly covers one of the doors and has an awning over the other to stop rain dripping down the mesh. Unfortunately, you may still have a few issues in the rain. Though customers haven't given much feedback yet, they almost always find issues with Coleman tents and leaks along the seams, even when they're inverted. It'd be a wise move to invest in some seam seal and waterproofing spray when using this tent. It'll add to the cost, but customers tend to report excellent durability in Coleman tents, so it's worth it in the long run. They also speak openly about how if any of the tent's components fail, Coleman is quick to send you a replacement free of charge. So, theoretically, this tent could last years and is worth the investment. At number 2. Ozark Trail 3-room instant cabin 12-person tent. This Ozark Trail 12-person tent is excellent for livability and privacy. It features 3 rooms so you can sleep kids and parents apart, or create closer-knit subgroups of the friend gang. The instant setup is super easy thanks to the pre-attached poles. With each room you get ample space, enough for 4 sleepers in sleeping bags or 2 on air mattresses, so there's no arguing over who gets the larger vestibule. Once day comes, you can all huddle outside under the awning and relax, free of the sun's harshest rays or the light drizzle of the wetter seasons. This awning space is included in the overall dimension specifications of the tent. If it's too rainy to use the awning, you can still create a communal experience inside. Open all the doors so the room feels like one and have your fun. If you're worried it'll be too stuffy when hanging out indoors, there's a ground vent in each vestibule to mitigate your fears. You can also keep the windows open to let the outside in, although if you worry the rain will leak in, all 7 windows are closable, and you can roll fabric over the main door. Unfortunately, you can't pull fabric over the outer doors that lead to the outside. Plus, it'll do well and won't leak in rain, but when it comes to wind it's a little weak. The fiberglass poles are prone to buckling and any blowing debris may rip through the tent fabric. Stay on low ground and avoid storm-prone areas, and you can't go wrong when using this tent. At number 3. Core 12-person instant cabin tent. Family road trips to your camping spot can be exhausting, especially with tons of kids. All you want to do is get in the tent and relax as soon as you arrive. You dread setup, so for that, you need a 12-person instant cabin tent. Preferably a 2 or 3 room instant cabin tent, so you can have some privacy while your kids play the night away. This Core 12-person instant cabin tent has ample room for all of you and fits 3 queen-size air mattresses, fit for up to 6 people. It fits double that amount if you all sleep on the ground, or many of your group are kids. The spacious floor plan in the 12-person cabin tent also allows room for gear, accessible at any time of day thanks to the lighting system. Once you've got those set up, you can camp in all weathers and seasons, covering the large mesh windows indoors while still having light. Once it's dry, rip off the rainfly and let light stream in through the tall ceiling as well as the windows and doors so you can stargaze from the comfort of the tent. All in all, this instant cabin tent has several features that kids will benefit from, including a side entrance for easy access. At number 4. Eureka Copper Canyon LX 12-person tent. If you want a family camping tent that'll withstand most weather without the bulk and commitment of a canvas one, here's the tent Eureka Copper Canyon 12. This 12-person cabin tent is suitable for 3-season use and will do wonderfully in the rain, but it's lighter and more like your standard tent. The steel and fiberglass frame stands strong, and it's easy to assemble if you bring a friend along. Ensure your friend is tall, because there's tons of headroom in here with a peak height of 7 foot. Consider bringing a stepladder on your trip. You can easily stow it in the corner of one of the 2 large vestibules separated by a curtain in the center of the Eureka Copper Canyon 12-person tent. The 2 spaces allow for excellent livability and privacy for camping with a group of friends. Set up a table and chairs in one and pile your sleeping bags into the other, giving the place a cabin-like feel. Its ample floor space ensures there's plenty of room to sprawl out at night, so long as you're careful not to punch a fellow camper in the face. Though it's decently roomy, it's no queen mattress to yourself type of space. For smaller parties, you could fit 4 queen-sized beds in the tent in total, but you'd have to use both rooms as sleeping areas, and it'd cut the tent's capacity down to 8. If that's alright with you, then go right ahead. You can easily deflate the mattresses by day, set out the chairs, unveil the large windows and relax in your private cabin. Though there's a minor issue with the windows, the waterproof covers hang loose and attach lightly with Velcro, allowing cold air through the mesh, so it's a tent best made for summer camping. Velcro also isn't as reliable as a zipper, so some water may leak through around the window's edges. If this is a concern for you, consider a small full coverage tarp to hang over the windows. This will block out light, but you can use the electric cable port to bring in a power supply to fire up an electric lamp you were storing in the overhead storage pockets.